So welcome back to Lore and Legacy, everyone. I'm Juliana, your host. And if you've played the Resident Evil 4 remake, his iconic voice and his face has already been living rent-free in your head. But his connection to this universe started long before he ever stepped into the volume. So from navigating the franchise as a genuine fan to now standing at the absolute center of it as Albert Wesker and Zeno, two legacy-defining villains, what a massive fandom and a career built on architecting the ultimate mastermind. Craig, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So before we get into the whole Resident Evil lore and everything, I know that there's like an origin to Craig. So you recorded your first album at 17, right? And then you studied theater at York, you did the Edinburgh Fringe, you did a lot of nice things since like you're really young, and somehow, just somehow, that path led you to being Albert Wesker. So when you are in a mocap volume doing a AAA game like this one, how much of that stage actor is still running underneath all of that? How much the old Craig is still inside of the Resident Evil Craig?
I think a lot. I think that you have to find truth in any character you're playing, and I mean that's one of the things that I learned in theater school is like finding truth and finding a way to say words that maybe you wouldn't say in an honest way, and feeling the way that this character does and making it hit you in a way that feels real is a very important thing, even when you're playing characters that are so far removed from you, like megalomaniacs like Wesker or Zeno.
Yeah, absolutely. And you embody Wesker, and then you went on to embody Zeno in such like a very important way to the franchise, because we have a villain problem here. Because Wesker is a villain that a huge portion of the fan base is genuinely in love with. And I'm very biased to say that as well. They are not really they're not rooting against him, but they are rooting for him. So when you are playing that kind of character, where the audience's loyalty, they run counter to the narrative's intent, does that change anything about how you build him, or whatever you see there is just the way that you're gonna build him? You're gonna bring Wesker, Zeno.
Well, I think there's probably a little bit of a difference because, yeah, you know that playing this guy as evil as possible, you're still gonna make people excited about that. It's not quite like playing some ruthless villains on television and film where people just hate because like he's got fans. He's got a lot of fans. There's a big fandom for this character, and I knew that walking in. Like I knew when they told me what I was doing, I knew how much pressure that was going to be. But yeah, I think it's a really fun thing to play, and knowing that you can go pretty far with them, and people are going to be happy. But I mean, like I got to kill Leon, right? Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah. And it's not like one of the questions that I had here, but now that you got into the part of like you were killing Leon, how does it, honestly, like it's very like a more personal question, I would say, but how does it feel to say like I finally killed that man? Like even if it's not canon, but like how did it all play out for you when you did that?
I think when we were shooting it, we knew how big a deal it was going to be. Like we knew Nick was approaching it with all the gravitas that was going to be necessary for, because he like yes, it's an alternate ending. Yes, it's a an extended death scene of like or you died, basically, as Resident Evil would say. But we knew that it was going to be a very serious thing for the fans to see. So I think we took it really, really seriously, and just approached it in that way. But getting to play it, when I got to see that ending, I was pretty much cackling and maniacally laughing because I thought it looked spectacular. It looked badass. It's really fun to watch people's reaction to it.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, but oh my God, it's pretty fun to watch my character get that win.
Yeah, and you always play such iconic characters. And um, I believe that you said in a recent interview too that once you are inside a franchise like this, you basically lose the ability to be a fan. And I know that you played Resident Evil like since the first one, right? And then for someone who genuinely was a fan of Resident Evil before any of this, what actually goes away? Like, what does that?
I'll clarify that. You don't lose the ability to be a fan, but you lose the ability to speculate like a fan,
Uh,
right? So I still I love these games and being in them, that makes it even better.
mhm.
But as far as what's going to happen, I like reading people's theories. I got my own theories, but I can't talk about them anymore. So I think that's a pretty fair trade-off. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I feel like when we talk about like this not being able to speculate, maybe it's because you see a lot of fans having maybe so many theories that are just like yours or something like this, and you can really go like, "Yay, guys! Like this is it! Like I truly believe this is happening." You know, you can maybe like as a Wesker, as a Zeno, you might not be able to say like, "Guys, I really think that this is happening. Like this is going on." But like you can really give those spoilers, you know, you might just like stay with the theories.
Anything I say gets taken out of context. So if I were to say, "Oh, I hope this happens," or it would be cool, it would be cool if I get to do this, then that immediately gets clipped. It gets written up as articles, and it says Resident Evil actor leaks something. So that's basically why I can't do it. It's a safety thing, really.
Yeah, no, completely understand that. And since we are in like the fan topic, I know that you also play like a big part in the Star Wars Outlaws. You were also in Avatar, the Frontiers of Pandora, and you were also in Assassin's Creed, right? So when you step into these worlds, they're completely different worlds, but still, is there ever a moment because they have such big and loyalty fandoms that the weight of what it means for these fans, for you to play those roles, for you to take on different legacies, is does this weight lands on you? Like, how does it feel to leave this whole process and knowing that you have a lot of people that are counting on you to embody all of these different characters and all of these different worlds?
Um, I mean, getting to be a part of Star Wars is kind of a dream come true. Like I grew up watching Star Wars. Um, I remember seeing Return of the Jedi in theaters, and like I've been a massive fan of Star Wars. So yes, I didn't get to play main characters in Outlaws, but I did like 1,500 lines of dialogue. You can play that game for 10 minutes, and any 10 minutes in that game and you will hear my voice somewhere in it. I was in the trailer for it. I had one line that was in the trailer. So yeah, I mean it's not a Star Wars movie, but being part of that universe is kind of a dream come true for me.
That's great. And I truly feel like when we're playing these games, this happens a lot to me. And you hear like a voice in the background, you're like, I know this person. And then you go and look for it, and you're like on your, we land on your website or like the store's
I
page.
do the same thing. Anytime I'm playing a game or watching a TV show and I'm like, I don't know who that is, I will pause it and I'll look it up and try to figure out who it is and be like, okay, this is right. I know this person from that thing and that thing. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really fun as a fan, you know. And going back a bit to the Resident Evil universe, you return as Zeno, obviously, and I watched your reactions, seeing people's reactions to Zeno, and that was so fun. And I remember my reaction as well. I was like, "Oh my god, can it be? Is that it? Wow!" And it's a brand new character, even though he looks like Wesker, but it's a brand new character in a franchise where you already exist as again one of the most iconic figures ever. And I believe that some actors they usually don't build something new inside a world where they already exist. They just come back and they play the same role or things like this. But in terms of separating both of them, because again, iconic figures, how do you separate Zeno and Wesker? Obviously, two different characters, but is Wesker with you when you create Zeno, when you are being Zeno?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they told me what I was doing, like they already knew the plot before they brought me in, right? So like
Mhm.
I'm brought in and I only get a couple scenes at a time when I'm working on it. So they tell me what I need to know, we do it. And so I brought Wesker to the table and started doing it because that's what I was kind of assuming we were doing. And Kate pushed me in a little bit of a different direction, our director. And I mean, I think we got to a place where Zeno was a very different person than Wesker very quickly because of Kate's influence. So I I credit her with that, really.
Mhm. No, that's really interesting because there's a lot of theories in the film too. Like, are they related? And also the way that Wesker and Zeno move, they're very similar as well. So it's kind of fun to see, the same actor playing two different characters, but that you see so many similarities, and at the same time, they're very different. And the way that you pull it off, it's very surprising because it's different. So kudos to you on that. And in the same topic, is there anything that Zeno gives you that Wesker just doesn't at all?
I mean, he smokes. That's one thing. That was right from the beginning. That was all over the storyboards, and they would show me a picture of Zeno. I was like, do I get to smoke in this? Is that what's happening? And they're like, oh yes, yes, yes. That was like right from the start. That was one of his character things, and I thought that was cool to have something different that he was doing physically. Um, Gave me a lot of action to do when he wasn't talking. Yeah, there's really it's tough to talk about. Um, I can say what you guys see in game is what we were trying to show.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's hard to say more than that, really. It's not safe.
No, okay. No, we promise no out of context clip here. Promise you. And you spent over like what 2 decades performing because you are in a band too, right? So you're the
Hmm.
vocalist. And then you did a lot of mocap too. So in your words and based on everything that you've lived since the very beginning, um how do you make sure that you create those moments that the performance will last? For example, Wesker, because Wesker will live on forever. So how do you ensure that you are creating those kind of moments like on stage or when you're doing mocap, and those different performances?
Um, yeah, I love performing. Basically in any any way. I love singing. I love going to karaoke. I like getting to do live theater. I don't do live theater as much, though I am in medieval times, so I get to do that. But it's like it's the same show every time we do it. Um, I find that um, there's things like live theater and playing in my band where you don't have to be so precious about it. We're doing a 2 hour show and people are going to watch it once. Maybe they'll have footage of it or maybe they won't. But when it comes to games, especially like this franchise, anything you say, people are going to watch over and over and over again, and they're going to clip and it's going to be online. And so like when we're working on these games, I think it's really important to look at all the lines and be like, okay, wait a second. Like if one of them isn't working, find a way to make it work because you can't just throw away things in these games. They're going to be examined. They're going to be contextualized. They're going to be looked at and recorded. And so, yeah, I think that finding moments, like you said, is a very important thing to do, especially in games.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And before we get to like the before we conclude the narrative here, um, I don't know if you're allowed to say anything about it or no, but what does the rest
Probably
of
not.
we'll try, we'll try.
I don't even know what the question is, but the way you're starting it, I can probably assume I can't answer it.
Okay, so what does the rest of the year look like for you? Can like should the fans
Oh,
remind us
that
of?
yeah, I can say that most of it is I've got a lot of really big shows with my band coming up.
Mhm,
We're flying to a couple of different gigs. We started this band as like just in province in Ontario and around Toronto.
mhm,
We are now touring around. We're going out east. We're going out west. Not as far as Vancouver, but we are going west as well. So lots of shows with the band. Lots of stuff with Medieval Times. I have signed contracts for two conventions. They're not they're not close enough that I can announce them yet, but that is happening as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of the fans. There's more in the works. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, that's what I can. I did ADR for a TV show a couple weeks ago, so that's probably going to air this summer. There's a TV show that I shot, and I think that's about all I can say.
Okay, okay. So me and the fans will definitely be expecting all of this. And honestly, I just want to say a huge, huge thank you for coming back to the franchise and like playing Zeno and letting us all enjoy your performance once again because that was amazing, amazing. And again, I'm very biased to say huge, huge Resident Evil fan. But yeah, I truly, truly wish that like all of the good things, and I truly wish to see more of your work because your work is amazing. I have played the Outlaws, so when I saw that you were in Outlaws, I was like, let me replay and see if I can pick those lines. I have played Valhalla. I think Valhalla was like my very first Assassin's Creed too, and then I went and I got the DLC so I could see God.
Assassin's Creed is a long game that you've got to put in like 100 hours before you get to my character.
Exactly. I think I got like 121 in Valhalla, so it's
Yep.
really, really extensive. And of course, Resident Evil. Like when it first got out, I bought it and I play. And I think that seeing Zeno was like the one of the most anticipated moments for everyone. So that was amazing. So thank you for giving us this. The pleasure of seeing you again, and thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate you being here.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate it.